Positioning yourself correctly in the proper assets at this stage is the most valuable skill currently, because if you're able to get liquidity early into the pump, you will be able to reposition and transfer liquidity into things that did not pump yet, which essentially gives you a lot of money to play with and give you a high chance to multiply these chunks of money, to multiply these profits. What are the top meme coins to buy currently, and how to understand whether or not your meme coin actually has potential at this stage, or has it topped, or did it top, or had it topped already, and you are being the exit liquidity out there. And we will also discuss 4 low cap meme coin picks I do think will be doing quite well. Positioning yourself correctly in the current stage of the market is the most valuable thing you can actually do, because if you're getting capital earlier in the process, you're actually getting money that you're able to play with and position into other places and multiply further into the cycle as well. There is other strategy I will also share as well, that essentially there is also other strategy that is not that obvious, but people who are employing it are outperforming everyone else heavily in this marketplace. And today I will share this other strategy as well. Mainly is connected with having conviction, holding and understanding the thought process, and where you will be taking your money from the market. Like this video, subscribe to this channel in order not to miss the alpha moving forward, and let's start. I wanted to start with the chart of BTC. It's crazy how good this looks currently. We definitely have our breakout from this level, and it was just such a classic. Like, we got our rejection here, we essentially went lower, we tested the support, and we get sent back, and we moved through this level, right? We did not even test the breakout here because it would be just too easy. If you would essentially went back down, a lot of people would be longing this level, and market makers that did not allow for the market participants to enter this type of free longs in order to be able to make this type of free money. But this is a beautiful chart. We are breaking out of this giant accumulation range, and in general I do think that mid-term to long term, if you think that it will end up with just 25% movement over the accumulation that happened over the 7 to 8 months, I think you are wrong. And we definitely have a lot of PTSD in the marketplace currently. Even myself, even personally, like I'm constantly thinking, oh, these are top signals, maybe that there is a correction, Coinbase application is already too high, these influencers, they're getting so many views, so many views on YouTube channels, so many people are screaming about making so much money, it's probably top already. And I do remember myself a year ago, because it's very funny how the situation is exactly repeating to things that were happening a year ago. Very similar, even in terms of the narratives pumping, like it's kind of like the same order in a way, right? And a year ago, I remember I was saying, I am scared, but this is good. I am scared because everyone is scared based on me being scared. And most likely this actually signals that we will continue to search up, because I also remember myself in spring, in March and April, I was just confident I will be holding, it will be all right, it will be nice, it will be holding, and it did not play out that well, right? So I remember vividly saying, I'm scared, that's why we're going higher. And I do feel a certain portion of fear out there in the marketplace. It's definitely hard to loan certain altcoins, to get into assets at this stage, but I do think that this is actually the point of where you are changing your bias, right? Because we can check something like Peanut, all right? And I think the reason that no one was actually able to hold Peanut on the marketplace, I would say that arguably they actually made the right choice of selling these things somewhere in the run-up and things like that, because the main thing is that their minds, they were still structured in the previous stage of the market, in the PvP stage of the market, where coins, they would go like, if this is a runner, they would go to like $300 million max, right? And they will essentially die out right after. And a lot of people, they were taking profits in this area right here, mainly because they thought that we're essentially at the same stage of the market and nothing is happening. However, stage of the market changed, and this coin received a lot of liquidity out there. If you remember my thesis on election coin, this is very important. I was positioning myself in election coins, assuming that with new BTC order high in October, which almost happened, we will have a new liquidity inflows from retail part of the market. Unfortunately, market took a little bit more time, and people who were seeing election coins, they just realized that this is still a PvP, and they just dumped all of the and most of the election coins because of this fact. Very interesting. So I was generally right, but it was a very, very risky bet because retail came like maybe 1 or 2 weeks after the election, and people just were not able to realize things that I realized myself, and I kind of had a bet on people being smarter, right? But unfortunately I lost on this bet. But it's a very, very interesting thing to analyze, along with the peanut, with the fact that a lot of people were taking profits. A lot of people call this at like under $1 million market cap, under 3 million, 1 out of 1,000. It's actually good statistics if 1 out of 1,000 was able to hold. No one actually was able to hold this thing. This is crazy. And the main reason it's obviously became this phenomena is because it actually influenced the election. Because I was explaining this in one of the videos. Trump and Musk, they were focusing on certain emotions out there, but they never tapped into this emotion of justice, of fairness, of feeling pity for an animal that actually died. And this was just a present out there, because this was the emotion that they were not tapping in because like of the masculine kind of situation out there. But this thing was just crazy. It's like a very, very nice present from the universe in order for essentially for them to succeed in the things that they were essentially working on, right? So this is just an overview on this thing. Something I also want to check out is Total 3. And we're in a very, very weird spot at this stage because Total 3 is already moving and Ethereum is not moving yet. And if you remember previous cycles, we usually were going from BTC to Ethereum to altcoins to memecoins. Right now, I'm telling this since spring of 2024. Best traders, most professional traders are in memecoins currently. And we see heavily memecoins front trending. Solana memecoins already exhausted all of the potential even before this pump, because people started to buy in and they understood that probably this was the bottom, and they understood they will be able to capitalize on the additional liquidity inflows, which kind of resulted in the way that a lot of Solana meme coins, they're not moving currently at this stage just because of the fact that the potential on them is already exhausted by it. They front ran, and currently what we are seeing is that Solana is kind of reaching all-time high, which is very interesting. You might actually compare the situation with Ethereum, because Ethereum is still kind of like seen as being dead and things like that, but Ethereum meme coins like Pepe and some others, they started to surge up. Because these traders, they do essentially understand that there is upside there, and they're front running the whole thing, and maybe, just maybe, it will actually connect us with the same situation out there. I would even say that less professional market participants are sitting in altcoins currently, and more professional, they are definitely in meme coins, like people that essentially know this stuff, probably doing it full time and things like that. On Total 3, we kind of had similar chart to BTC, right? The only difference for this chart on Total 3 is that we are not yet at the all-time highs. And I was telling you back in March that I was telling you somewhere here that Total 3 still has a catch-up movement to do till the all-time highs. It still has a 40% movement. It did not go there. Started to correct. We formed this range. We formed this cup and handle, you might say, right? And it just seems that we might essentially be catching up with the all-time high on Total 3 this time and moving above. And what's bullish? Because you have to understand, like, people are bearish on Ethereum, they're telling, oh yeah, nothing is happening. Ethereum will definitely be catching up 100%. And the fact that it's lagging is actually quite bullish. You need to understand that the fact that Ethereum is lagging, it actually gives you an option to enter altcoins. Before people get persuaded by green charts and green price on Ethereum, right? You still have the option to essentially enter your altcoins, which is very interesting. Like a lot of alts out there, in certain narratives especially, they're still at the bottoms. A very, very interesting situation if you would ask me. At the same time, we have things like Sui. To be honest, Sui looks like it wants to go at $8 a coin, which is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And some Sui meme coins, like their charts, this is something I actually wanted to talk about, because we had certain Sui meme season right here. I was talking about this, well, I kind of called it too. We had our Sui meme season, we had pumpage. Since then, they dumped, so they are consolidating around this level, right? And around this level, they're also printing a couple handle pattern, and they're essentially starting to break out just a little bit. You can see that they are already not in the accumulation range. They already started to break out just a little bit, which is a very, very interesting sign, because the reason we had meme season on Solana, is something that is called wealth effect. Wealth effect is when people are buying the native coin of the chain. Native coin is doing large multipliers, and then people have free money in order to gamble in meme coins on chain, right? This is something that happened in Solana because it went from $7 to $200 back in last year pretty much. And something that helped on Solana as well were airdrops. We had Jupiter airdrop, we had some other airdrops on Solana that gave a bunch of free money to Solana ecosystem holders, which essentially helped them to gamble on Solana meme coins out there. And this is a very, very interesting comparison. Obviously, wealth effect on Sui at this stage is not that significant because we just went from $0.5 and this is exact bottom, so not a lot of people probably bought the exact bottom, and we just went to like $4. But when we are at $8, we will definitely have a way larger wealth effect out there, and people will definitely be more keen to be playing in the meme coins on Sui as well, which is a very, very interesting situation out there. Coming back to our thing with Ethereum meme coins, with Total 3, everything that is happening, I wanted to show 4 charts to you. I just wanted to show you comparison. On the top you have Doge chart, then you have Pepe chart, then you have Bread chart, you have Bobo chart. You can see that all of them, like they're essentially the same chart. Exactly the same thing. The main difference is that visually, despite the fact that visually it might essentially seem that, well, yeah, they might be the same, what I will be doing currently, I will essentially check out how much they essentially went up from the exact bottom of the recent accumulation of the recent 7 to 8 months to the current levels. It's very interesting to check this out because yes, these are the same charts, but they have way different potential. And I would essentially, after that, I would draw some lines for you to essentially see some more interesting information on this chart as well. So from the absolute bottom of the recent accumulation to recent highs, Dogecoin did 4.5x. It's crazy. It's on Dogecoin. It's like very, very high liquidity meme coin. Pepe did 3.6x. From the lows of recent accumulation range, Dogecoin did more x's than Pepe. You might be curious like why this has happened, what has happened. We will discuss this. Bread did 3x, even less than Pepe, right? Despite the fact that the market cap is lower, and Bobo did 4x, but Bobo did 4x probably because the market cap is essentially larger and because it kind of dumped heavily in comparison to other assets as well. So what I'm essentially doing currently, I'm drawing some lines right here to show you where the levels are of the previous all-time high of this cycle, right? And following these lines, what you can see currently, this is crazy. This is like purest piece of alpha you only need for your meme coins out there. You can see that Dogecoin had the breakoutage. By the way, it's exactly the same thing. You can see this small wick if you can see it. We retested this line, we get sent back, we reaccumulated, and we went straight up. We're seeing the same thing on BTC, we're seeing the same thing in the breakout of Total 3 as well, which is your altcoin index. And Dogecoin from this line is essentially up. We can check out how much it is up. Around 2x, which is quite nice in comparison. Pepe just had the breakoutage on the Coinbase news. It was up from the line 50% out there. From the bottom, so it's obviously up more. But you can also visually see that even Dogecoin is up 2x from the line, and Pepe is only up 50%. Does it actually tell you that Pepe should be printing new high short term? Sure. I would tell you this 100%. Pepe should be printing new high, and they all chart-wise, they all should be catching up to the movements of the larger asset, which is Dogecoin in our case. A very, very important comparison that you have to do. You have Bread, and Bread, for example, just got rejected from the previous all-time high. Exactly the same thing we've seen on Dogecoin on this week. I can make it larger for you. Can you see it week? This week, it got rejected from the all-time high of this cycle, reaccumulated and sent back again. Bread just got rejected from the previous all-time high. It has a very, very high chance. I would say it's almost guaranteed it will essentially continue. And there are some other assets on the marketplace that are exactly at this bottom at this stage, that has a guaranteed movement, at least to these levels, 100%. Indian Blast, of course. And we have Bobo, for example. Bobo is still chart-wise somewhere here in comparison to Bread, in comparison to Pepe, in comparison to Doge. That's why, therefore, it has more upside, because first, it has to catch up to its previous all-time high, which is essentially a 2x from here, it will get retested, it will get rejected, there will be a reaccumulation happening, and then it will surge to the new all-time highs as well. This is what is happening on the marketplace, and each and every asset is essentially repeating the same type of pattern, right? And you don't even need to kind of buy into these large cap meme coins out there, and you also don't have to gamble, because if these are like all the projects with proper communities, with proper narratives, you're just seeing that the charts are the same. You're just buying in the smaller assets and you're just waiting, and you kind of just pick up for yourself. All right, so I want to get short term, like I want the movement to happen now, I don't want to wait, but I do understand that in this case I would be receiving a smaller capitulation on my money. Then I'm buying something like pepe, like I would probably do like 20-30%, maybe 40% short term. Quite nice in comparison to the gains on the stock market, right? If I would want to be exposed to the upside of the new all-time high of the coin, maybe like up to 2x, but I'm ready to wait a little bit more, I'm buying into bread, right? Because we are clearly at this reaccumulation at this stage, and we will be pushing further through the all-time high. And Doge did 2x from this breakout at least, and Doge is a large liquidity asset, which means that bread, as essentially meme coin on base, should be doing the same. As meme coins in general, they should be doing the same. And it's very, very interesting that the first we've seen these movements on Solana meme coins. They all printed these charts, and then these memes started to print these charts, which just confirms that everything looks like this and everything moves like this. The only thing is that when you're entering at the bottoms, you pretty much just have to wait, right? And then you have something like bobo. Bobo has 2x to do until the all-time highs, and then it has to go to the new all-time high again. It's crazy in comparison. Like bobo will be doing way more access in comparison to all of these coins out there. The only issue and the only difference out there is the fact that you would still have to wait. So you will be buying, for example, into bobo currently, you will just have to wait. There are some other better assets that are present on the marketplace to bobo that you might actually be buying into currently as well. You would have to wait, they will have the time to break out, but they're proven better place on the marketplace that are moving along with bobo out there, along with pepe, along with these larger assets, along with bread in a way as well. So I wanted to share two specific projects. These are low caps, so you have to be careful, right? But I just wanted to share the chart similarities out there. This is Nemo. You can see it's exactly printing the same chart. We had this huge liquidity area right here, where we had a bunch of selling volume and a bunch of volume in general. And I would essentially just put this line somewhere in the middle of this area, right? And then we are correcting heavily. We are printing our cup, right? We are in the reaccumulation stage. We're already in the uptrend on this thing. So you might say that this is a guarantee. It's actually coming to this line, back into this line. So this is a guaranteed almost 2x, right? And then what it should be doing, it should be going to the previous all-time high right here. And after that, what will be happening? It will just repeat the same chart. It will go to the previous all-time high. It will get rejected. It will get retested right here. It will get bought up, and it will surge up like crazy. It will surge up like crazy, at least 2x from these all-time highs, just following the chart of Doge. They all will be repeating this thing, right? 100%. And then you can assess from current movement, from current levels till this level, which is quite a conservative estimate because this just repeats the movement that Doge did. This is 12.7x's. But the issue is that obviously you would have to wait, right? But this will be happening 100%. Because all of these meme coins, they're essentially following the same chart pattern out there. Something that we can also check out is Moon on Ethereum, which is also a better play to bobo. Chart looks very, very similar to how Snibo essentially look as well. And we can do the same exercise. I would just like to show you this thing as well on this chart because you just have to understand this. So first it will go here back to this level, then we will essentially be catching up to the previous all-time high. We'll get our retest and we will surge up from there, right? So we can check out what are the percentages out there, how are these things are essentially looking. So from current levels to this range, these are 60% movement. So the chart is a bit more mature than on Snibo on Ethereum because essentially it will need some time to catch up, right? And from there, from this level, it will be doing 3.5x. So we can check out from current levels. Yeah, we can also set at least 2x on the previous all-time high. Previous all-time high was 35 million, so we can set at least, again, this is a very conservative estimate just because of the fact that, by the way, I don't hold any coins of Momo. This is essentially a culture call. This is just a great beta play. Obviously, I have some PvP happening with Momo on Solana, but this one was doing quite well before. This pump was connected with the pump of Bobo. So the assumption is the fact that essentially once Bobo will be pumping, this thing will be pumping as well. This move is 10.6x. And yeah, you might have to wait. Yeah, you might have people in the marketplace that are constantly telling you that Ethereum is dead and nothing is happening and things like that. But this is how you make money, and this is how you outperform in general, because I can definitely say the vast majority of people who are trading out there, they're eventually losing money. Eventually, they are losing money. And this thing, you just buy, you hold, you get your time back. You kind of just becoming free out there. And you just hold and you have your targets for take profits out there. And again, these are very, very conservative estimates for these assets, because I am assuming a 2x move after the breakout of the all-time high of this cycle. And 2x move happened on Doge, and Doge is like $60 billion like liquidity asset. It's very crazy in comparison to these assets. They will probably be going much higher because their market cap is just lower. They need way smaller amount of liquidity out there. And essentially, as something I wanted to share as well, something to sum up, I wanted to share the situation on Endion Blast with this thing as well, because I was sharing this chart, and I do believe that we will be having the same situation. There is some fun happening about Blast ecosystem. People saying they like it's dead, they have no volume. You're always buying assets. You always want to be buying assets when there is no volume, because when you're buying assets in volume, usually you're late and you're being used as exit liquidity out there. So we can do the same type of exercise very, very easily here. We have this level as liquidity. We have essentially previous all-time high, and we have 120 million as a conservative estimate from previous all-time high, 2x from the previous all-time high. It's actually like, let's put it at 113, just to be correct, just to be right, guys, right? So my assumption, because the chart is exactly the same, even like capitulation patterns I was showing you on previous charts, like on some charts as well, capitulation patterns are also quite the same. And you might also think that people that wanted to sell, they kind of sold already, because we had several pumps. Like, I don't believe that there are a lot of people left that essentially want to sell, which means that the only way is up from here, right? You can also argue that like we just stopped going down on this thing and we are consolidating in the range. I would say that like sideways price action won't continue for a lot of time. I would just leave this pattern on the chart. I think that this is 100% something that will be happening. I won't like to remove the thing that I'm printing currently. I do think that it is something that will be happening. And we're going to $120 million market cap, a conservative estimate, just following the movement that happened on Doge. So from here to this range where a bunch of liquidity was traded, it's 5x, almost a 5x, right? And this is why I'm saying that this is freest 5x. I agree with this point. The only thing is obviously opportunity cost, because you would have to wait, but at the same time, this is 5x on the money. I do understand a lot of you might not be seeing this, but it's like a guarantee out there. It will be happening. Like, it cannot be happening. All of the charts are moving like this. All of the coins are moving like this. Something I wanted to note as well, because it's quite interesting. So this is a 5x till this liquidity area where a lot of selling was happening. Not on Endion Blast, on most of the assets out there. A large selling was happening around this area, right? And then from this area till previous all-time high, we have 3x movement as well, but it's from this area till previous all-time high. But if you're buying currently till previous all-time high, this is essentially a 14x movement, and till our conservative target at $114 million, because Dogecoin essentially did the same, and all of the memecoin assets, blue chip good memecoin assets with communities, they will be repeating this 100%. This would be a 28x. Even following this chart, like time estimate is April 2025. I would assume it should be happening sooner, right? I want essentially, like, at the same time, will I take 28x's on my money even if I would have to wait till April? Yes, I would. But I would say that it should be happening sooner. At least like certain movements, like you have to understand that once a move up will be happening on this thing, steady move up with no like major selling, with us essentially holding the levels and following this chart, this pattern will be confirmed. Because the mindset that is between people is that, or maybe this asset is not following this chart, maybe it's bottomed, maybe no one cares, and that's why like I won't be caring myself as well. At the smallest sign of reversal, we would actually be reversing from here. We will actually be going higher. We will confirm that the asset is actually following this chart pattern out there, which would essentially give the support necessary for the market out there, and it will just naturally continue to repeat all the patterns on all of the charts of meme coins out there. It's just about the fact that there are certain memes that pumped already, and they're already at the highs, and probably like the craziness of this game is that assets that there are at the highs, they have largest communities, they have the largest amount of people screaming about them, but this is not where you actually need to look at. Like, this is just crazy, because at the slightest move up, without corrections, we will confirm that we are finally repeating the pattern, and we will confirm that we are going to $120 million at least, short term till April. Well, till April it's like 5 months, 5 to 6 months. Well, I don't think it will take this much time. I do believe, and anyway, like, you have to understand that this is the top in April. Like, I would say this is the top in comparison to Dogecoin type of movement, right? Even before, we would be moving already. What if we would essentially be at $20 million market cap in January? I would expect sooner, to be honest. But even if we are at $20 million market cap in January, that means that you won't be able to buy at 4.6 already. So your entry point is way worse, and essentially your upside would be quite limited. Probably way more people will be talking about it. It will be way more bullish. It will be way more bullish for the ecosystem as well. But I just want you to understand what is happening. These are just the examples. The reason I'm showing you Andy on Blast is not only about the fact that I'm holding this thing and I think that this thing will be, and the fact that I think that this thing will be in billions and will be doing quite well. And by the way, with me saying that the time on the clock is 11:11. Currently, it just happens randomly, but nothing is random in this life, right? I just want you to understand the charts. I just want you to understand the concept. I've been preaching this for so much time already, and they're repeating each other. It's even like at this stage, it's not even about like what type of things you need to buy. Like, if you want to gamble, yes, you can lose money on meme coins, but currently we still have a range of assets that are still recovering, right? And currently it's kind of, you're in a supermarket and you're picking how much money you actually want to make in what time frame. So for example, if you would come to me and you would say, Stan, I want to make 50K from 5K. My time frame is 2 to 3 months. I would tell you buy Snibble. Someone would essentially come, Stan, I have $20,000. I want to make a 2x in 2 to 3 weeks time frame. I would say buy bobo. Someone would come, Stan, I have 500K. I would want to have exposure to Memecoin market. I want to maybe make 20% of it over the next year. I would say buy pepe, and you will probably be making more than 20%, right? It's just that this is a conservative bet out there. So you're in a supermarket currently and you're picking how much money you want to make and what is the time frame you actually want to wait. The larger you're ready to wait, the more you're ready to wait. Obviously, there is opportunity cost, but the more you're ready to wait, the more money you would essentially be making, because the assets that are at the exact bottom currently, they have the largest upside out there. I want you to understand these things, and there is definitely a very, very small amount of meme coins out there that still have this upside and still did not reversed from the exact bottoms out there, and there are still blue chip coins. There are some. For example, on Sui, we had our first wave of meme coins. Some of them, they already at the top of the second wave, but certain coins, they're essentially just starting to enter the second wave movement, right? Because what I'm trying to essentially explain to you is the fact that once coins would go to the previous all-time high, we've seen this on Sigma. I would just show you, let me actually just show you Sigma chart out there. So once coins are going up to the previous all-time high, well, it's probably not the full chart. Yeah, it's probably not the full chart, but I can kind of create the full chart for you. So before this, we just were in the giant accumulation and we had our high somewhere here. So we had our cup and handle. We came back, we surged back up. So Doge, I would argue Dogecoin is somewhere here currently, and if the cycle continues and if things will go higher, it will go to accumulation. probably not go as low because the asset essentially market cap is way larger, right? And it will have another leg up, right? And what happened on meme coins on Sui, because Sui meme season first part already happened, a lot of them, they pumped, they went up. Some of them, they're here at the breakoutage. Some of them, like AAA, they already continued, but you don't need to buy AA currently. You essentially need to sell your AAA and buy into coins that are here at these levels. And it's very, very easy to understand. It's all the same chart. Our giant accumulation, we're going back up, we're here, we broke out, and then we usually come into the levels of this high, right? We are consolidating. We can see it right here. Right here is happening. Consolidating. We kind of pretty in the similar chart pattern, cup and handle as well, which is crazy. We have our breakoutage, and we continue to do the new all-time highs right here. Sui memes, some Sui memes are at these levels currently. This is where you want to buy, right? Some obviously at the bottoms, but this is somewhere you would eventually want to buy. This is it from my end. I hope you understand the concept. Thank you very much. If you found this information valuable, please consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel. I'm doing these videos every day, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.